जीवन्मुक्तिप्रदं देवं क्षमापूर्णं जगद्गुरुं वन्दे परमहंसाख्यं नित्यानन्दाय स्वागतं। जीवन्मुक्तिप्रदं देवं क्षमापूर्णं जगद्गुरुं वन्दे परमहंसाख्यं नित्यानन्दाय स्वागतम्। आनन्दानुभवास्वादं सर्वरोगनिवारकं वन्दे पापविनाशक्तं नित्यानन्दाय स्वागतम्। आनन्दानुभवास्वादं सर्वरोगनिवारकं वन्दे पापविनाशक्तं नित्यानन्दाय स्वागतम्। नित्यमुक्तं निर्विकल्पं ಧ್ಯಾನಲೋಕಪ್ರದೀಪಕಂ.
ಪರಮಹಂಸ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದರು ನಮ್ಮ ಯುಗದ ಒಬ್ಬ ಅಭೂತಪೂರ್ವ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಶಕ್ತಿ, ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಸಮಾಜದ ಆಂದೋಲನದ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾಪಕರು, ಆಧುನಿಕ ವೈದಿಕ ನವೋದಯದ ಪ್ರಥಮ ಅನ್ವೇಷಕ, ಪವಿತ್ರ ಊರಾದ ತಿರುವಣ್ಣಾಮಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಜನ್ಮ ತಾಳಿದ ಒಬ್ಬ ಯೋಗಿ, ಕೆಚ್ಚೆದೆಯ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಸಂಶೋಧಕ, ದೈವಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶಕ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ. ಪರಮಹಂಸ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದರು ಇಂದು ಪ್ರಾಚೀನ ರಹಸ್ಯಾರ್ಥ ಯೋಗ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನದ ಪಥದಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಲಕ್ಷಾಂತರ ನಿಪುಣರಿಗೆ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿದಾಯಕರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕತೆಯ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನದ ಸಂಶೋಧನಾಕಾರ, ಆತ್ಮ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರ ತೋರುವ ಗುರುಗಳು. ಅವರ ವಿವೇಕದ ಸಂಪತ್ತು, ಅವರ ನಗುವಿನ ಆ ಸಂತಸ ಹಾಗೂ ಅವರ ಅದ್ವಿತೀಯ ದೀಕ್ಷೆಯ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಪರಮಹಂಸ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದರು ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಾದ್ಯಂತ ಸುಮಾರು 1 ಕೋಟಿ ಜನರೊಡನೆ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗ ಪರಮಹಂಸ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದರು ಜೀವನ್ಮುಕ್ತಿಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಆನಂದಮಯ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಪರಿಹಾರಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತನಾಡಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮರೆಯಲಾರದ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನು ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಬನ್ನಿ.
ಸರ್ವಧರ್ಮ ಪ್ರಣೇತಾರಂ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದರೂಪಿಣಂ ವಂದೇ ಸನಾತನಂ ಪುಣ್ಯಂ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದಾಯ ಸ್ವಾಗತಂ. ವೇದ ವೇದಾಂತ ಸಂವೇದ್ಯಂ ದೇವದೇವಿ.
Let me give you some of the sacred secrets. What is your belief? Belief is nothing but the words and ideas and truths put inside you. Whom you believe will not harm you. When some ideas, beliefs have been put inside you by your parents or friends or relatives whom you trust, will not think bad for you, will do only good for you, those ideas are only becoming belief in you. That is why friendliness plays such a major component in teaching. But unfortunately, after a certain level, friendliness cannot help in teaching. To make you comfortable in the same spectrum you are living is different. Raising you completely to the different spectrum is different. When you need to be raised completely to the different spectrum, the ideas which got into your system, which was given to you by the deep friendliness by your friends or relatives or family, will not be sufficient, because they themselves, they may not think bad for you, but what they think as a good itself has its own limitations. They cannot think even in the line of good, auspiciousness, right, beyond certain level. If a beggar thinks all good should happen to you, what he will imagine? You should have enough food and a house to rest. Nobody should ask you work. For a beggar, this is ultimate, over. He is not going to think, let you become enlightened. You go to a temple, you come out, and on the way there is a beggar, you give him some 100 rupee, and suddenly he is shocked by 100 rupee because nobody gives him more than 1 rupee, and he sees 100 rupee, and this guy immediately want to give his gratitude to you. He blesses, let you have all good things. So what do you think he will be visualizing in the mind? Plates and plates of food and a comfortable house, freedom. so that nobody will ask you to work. That's all he can think. Understand? He cannot visualize enlightenment and tell you, let you have enlightenment. No. That's not going to happen. So the very thinking, see, it is not that beggar wants any good, bad for you. He wants only good. Even that he can imagine or think only to a certain level. All your beliefs, ideas are nothing but people who think good for you but who are good for nothing. They think good for you, but they themselves are good for nothing. They are good for only to the level an ordinary logic can function. If he is little intelligent man, he will say, all right, not only food and the house, let him have health also. Let him have a little bank balance also. Let him have a good wife. That much he can think. Not further. The beliefs, ideas, you think good for you, put by the people who are good for nothing, is only now fighting when the master tries to teach you something. It is the remains of your parents and family and society and school which is sitting in you is fighting with the remainder by existence. Master is a reminder to you by existence. Come back home. For a long time you are out. Get back. Is a reminder to you from the existence. Unfortunately, remains of the society in you fights with the reminder. Here, reminder comes down to the level of the remains of the society in you. Bhagavan is not even saying, I wanted to impose something newly on you. Let me come down. What you feel as a good, what you feel as a right, what you believe, what has got into your system by the people whom you don't suspect. When your friend says, hey, study well, get a job, naturally, he is not thinking bad for you. But the fool can think only that much. Many times, the ideas put inside your head by the people who don't think bad for you does not mean always those ideas are good for you. Bhagavan says, all right, whatever is said and done, all those ideas from the friends, family, society has gone into your system and become a biomemory, like a calculus. It has settled in your system. Now, it may be difficult for you to clear that. Let me come down to your level. Whatever ideas you already believe, which is put inside you by society, let me work with those ideas and liberate you, give you the truth. Bharata, all life forms are unmanifest initially. Very beautifully, Bhagavan is using the word life forms.
ಕಲ್ಪತರು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಂಡಲಿನಿ ಜಾಗೃತಿಯ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಕಂಡುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಕುಂಡಲಿನಿ ಎಂದರೇನು? ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಲ್ಲೂ ಸುಪ್ತವಾಗಿ ಅಡಗಿರುವ ಅಸಾಧಾರಣ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯವೇ ಕುಂಡಲಿನಿ ಶಕ್ತಿ. ಒಬ್ಬ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಗುರುಗಳ ದೀಕ್ಷೆಯಿಂದ ಈ ಕುಂಡಲಿನಿ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಜಾಗೃತಗೊಳಿಸಬಹುದು. ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಕುಂಡಲಿನಿ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಜಾಗೃತಗೊಂಡರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದ ಪ್ರತಿ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಪರಿವರ್ತನೆ ತರುವ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅದಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಹಾಗೂ ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ, ಸಂಪತ್ತು, ಯಶಸ್ಸು, ಸಂತೋಷಭರಿತ ಸಂಬಂಧಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಜ್ಞಾನೋದಯವನ್ನು ತಂದುಕೊಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಧ್ಯಾನ ಹಾಗೂ ದೀಕ್ಷೆಗಳ ಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಬಳಕೆಯನ್ನು ಕಂಡುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಕುಂಡಲಿನಿ ಜಾಗೃತಿಯ ಒಂದು ಇಣುಕು ನೋಟವನ್ನು ಕಲ್ಪತರು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಅನುಭವಿಸಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಭವಿಷ್ಯವನ್ನು ರೂಪಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಪ್ರತಿ ವಾರಾಂತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಥಳ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದ ಧ್ಯಾನಪೀಠ, ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದ ನಗರ, ಬಿಡದಿ, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು.
He is not using life. Life forms. All life forms are unmanifest initially. Then in the middle, they become manifest. And finally, become imperceivable once again. Then what lamenting can be there regarding this? All of you have assumed your body with certain purpose. Nobody can destroy that purpose. Even if they try to destroy this body, the purpose is so powerful, it will assume one more body and do the job. All you need to do is stop grieving. There is nothing to lament. Bhagavan is coming back to straightening Arjuna's own logic without adding any new component or new word or new truth into it. As Arjuna is in the confused seeker state, he may not be able to digest or internalize new truths, new components, new ideas. So Bhagavan is now using a method of straightening out his own logic. There are many things he strongly believes. With those basic concepts itself, Bhagavan is trying to eliminate the suffering and confusion from Arjuna. He feels it is too much for Arjuna to grasp new words, new ideas, new truths. It may not go well. It may not be easy for Arjuna to digest something new now. Best is clearing the confusions with which he is suffering. Logic needs to be cleared, clarified. Bhagavan comes down and talks to Arjuna with the ideas, truths, concepts Arjuna is already familiar, or already accepting, or already believing, already in tune with. O Partha, do not grieve. Now he is using the word Paridevana. Actually, this word Paridevana is a little more strong word. It's more like a paritapa, sympathy. Too poor. Bhagavan is actually teasing Arjuna. Even in your suffering, you have gone to the lowest point. Cheap suffering. Somebody has stolen one small diamond from the treasury, and the king is depressed for that, and he did not attend his court and office for 2 days. In the depression, he is lying on the bed. What a cheap suffering. If he attends the court, he will make more diamonds like that. Even in suffering, there is something called cheap suffering. That is what is Paridevana. Not only, see, even Nanu Shochitum Arhasi, in that word Shochitum, what Bhagavan means as suffering, a kind of a decent suffering. For example, you lived with somebody, your close friend or a spouse or somebody from family, that person dies and you are grieving. That can be called as Shochitum. Little decent word. Here the word Bhagavan is using Paridevana is like a cheap suffering. Somebody has stolen your chappal. Because of that, for 10 days you are not walking, lying on the bed, not putting the foot on the ground, saying, I am missing my chappal. I will not put my feet on the ground unless I get my chappal. I am going to fast unto death. Cheap suffering. Bhagavan is actually teasing. He may be looking very sincere in his words, but in his eyes, he is just boiling. You idiot. I have to sit here and waste so much of time. These are the words I can get out of these verses when I read between the lines. When I read between the lines, I can tell you very clearly the sacred secrets hiding in this sutra. If I had to read exactly, you idiot, get out of this depression and come out and start the war. I have so much work. Let's finish and go back. But the problem is sometimes you can't shout at the disciples because you groomed them, trained them for a purpose. Almost that purpose is about to be done. And this Vedala has gone up again. Like a Vikramaditya story. Vedala going up only is the ego going up on the top of your head and sitting. And the Vedala goes up. What to do?
ಓರ್ವ ಅವತಾರ ಪುರುಷರಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕೆ ದಿವ್ಯ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಬೇಕೇನು? ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಪಡಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಕರೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಪರಮಹಂಸರೊಡನೆ ಮುಖಾಮುಖಿ.
ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದ ಹಿಯರ್.
ಇಡೀ ಜಗತ್ತಿಗೆ ಪರಮಹಂಸ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದರು ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಅಪೂರ್ವವಾದ ಹಾಗೂ ಅಸದೃಶವಾದ ಉಡುಗೊರೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
I really can't believe, Swamiji.
You got practically everything and too much for a phone call.
ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ನಡೆಯುವ ಸತ್ಸಂಗದ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿಗೂ ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಉತ್ತರ ನೀಡಲು ಅವರು ಲಭ್ಯವಿರುವರು.
No, you ask anything you want in your life. Ask me any boon you want.
ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 8 ಗಂಟೆಯ ನಂತರ +918027279999ಗೆ ಕರೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಮಾತನಾಡುವ ಅದೃಷ್ಟ ನಿಮ್ಮದಾಗಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಹಾಗೂ ntv.nithyananda.orgಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರ ನೇರ ಪ್ರಸಾರವನ್ನು ವೀಕ್ಷಿಸಿ.
Nothing can be done. So you have to sit and pacify the Vedala, sing bhajans for the Vedala, then it will slowly come down. You have to catch and start your journey. That's why Bhagavan comes down and says, hey, even with the logic, you understand, you believe, look. The beautiful thing with Bhagavad Gita is, it's a straight beautiful sentence. A guru can sit and repeat that word, a disciple can directly understand and meditate. Before your birth, what was your face? Try to paint. You don't know. It was unmanifest. After your last rites, what is going to be your face? You don't know. Only in the middle, they become manifest. So what is the reason to lament? Why suffering? And such a cheap way. This whole, what you are seeing, was not there in the beginning, will not be there in the end. In the middle, it is appearing. Why are you suffering for it? Why are you worrying about it? Why are you being lamented for it? Please understand, anything which comes in the middle, if it adds joy to you, allow it in your life. Otherwise, just tell them, get out. I tell you, small fellows should not give suffering for you. If you allow the small fellows to give suffering for you, it's too much. Small story. An old man who is a truck driver was sitting in a truck stop and eating when 3 dangerous looking bikers walked in, young fellows looking dangerous. The first walked up to the old man, pushed his cigarette and took a seat at the counter. The second walked up to the old man, spit on his face and took his seat. The third walked up to the old man, just kicked him, turned over the old man's plate, and then he took the seat. Without a word of protest, the old man quietly left the hotel. Shortly thereafter, one of the bikers said to the waitress, see what kind of a man he is. Not much of a man, was he? The waitress replied, yes sir, not much of a truck driver either. He just backed his truck over 3 motorcycles. Don't allow cheap fellows to give suffering for you. So old man took care, the cheap fellows don't give suffering for him. Many times, dangerous looking bikers enter your life. Don't allow cheap fellows to give suffering for you. Don't allow this world to give suffering for you. Whatever you see, perceive, imagine, these 3 are the bikers. What you see, what you hear, what you imagine. What you see and what you hear is the base material, and with these 2 you cook up. That is what you imagine. These 3 are the 3 bikers constantly entering your life when you are eating. One kicks your plate, one spits on you, one throws stone on you. Silently go out, back your truck. World is too cheap to cause suffering for you. Don't be grieved. Don't allow the suffering by the world in your life. What lamenting can be there regarding this? Bhagavan is saying very clearly, whatever even you believe, based on that logic, let me talk to you. I am not introducing new words, new ideas, new truths, no. You already know from the parents, from the society, whatever you are seeing did not have form earlier, will not have the form after, it is only appearing now. Then why are you letting this give suffering to you? Sometimes some words can create a strong experience in you. For example, if you are connected closely with somebody and that person is dead, and if somebody else reminds you even words used by those person who is close friend, part of your life, you will suddenly get into the mood, experience of that person. Some tries to visualize it, some tries to speak about it, another hears of it as a wonder, yet having heard, none understands it at all, is describing about the ultimate truth. These words of Bhagavan.
ಕಲ್ಪತರು ಉತ್ತಮ ಆರೋಗ್ಯದ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದವನ್ನು ಕಂಡುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅನಾರೋಗ್ಯದ ಮೂಲ ಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ಅಳಿಸಿ ಹಾಕಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಚೈತನ್ಯದ ಮಟ್ಟವನ್ನು 1300% ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅದ್ವಿತೀಯ ಅವತಾರ ಪುರುಷರಾದ ಪರಮಹಂಸ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದರಿಂದ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕವಾಗಿ ಆಶೀರ್ವದಿಸಲ್ಪಟ್ಟ ಒಂದು ದಿನದ ಪರಿವರ್ತನಾಕಾರಕ ಹಾಗೂ ಉಪಶಮನಕಾರಕವಾದ ಒಂದು ಅನನ್ಯ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ, ಧ್ಯಾನ ಹಾಗೂ ದೀಕ್ಷೆಗಳ ಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಬಳಕೆಯನ್ನು ಕಂಡುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಕುಂಡಲಿನಿ ಜಾಗೃತಗೊಳ್ಳುವಿಕೆಯ ಒಂದು ಇಣುಕು ನೋಟದಿಂದ ಶಾಶ್ವತವಾದ ದೈಹಿಕ ಹಾಗೂ ಮಾನಸಿಕ ಪರಿವರ್ತನೆಯನ್ನು ಅನುಭವಿಸಿ ಉತ್ತಮ ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲನೆಯ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಕಲ್ಪತರು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಭವಿಷ್ಯವನ್ನು ರೂಪಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಪ್ರತಿ ವಾರಾಂತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಥಳ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದ ಧ್ಯಾನಪೀಠ, ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದ ನಗರ, ಬಿಡದಿ, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು.
Are more like finger pointing to the moon. It is just pointing to the pure truth. These words are uttered with such a precise clarity and authority. I am just lost in that experience. Taittiriya Upanishad says, failing to reach which words turn back along with the mind. Brahma is the word, Vishnu is the mind. Both of them fail to reach head or feet of Mahadeva and reach back. Bhagavan is describing now the impossibility to know it by ordinary senses. How can a confused mind perceive? Bhagavan is saying, oh fool, with this mentality which you are having now, you will not be able to perceive it. Why don't you just relax? Why don't you just come down? Why don't you just rest? You can't talk about silence. I can't say much about unspeakable. I only can say it is unspeakable, that's all. If I go on saying more and more words, then I am trying to speak on unspeakable. It's like talking to somebody who is already lost in some dreams. I can give you some references, crass references. Kathopanishad says, of that self which is not available for the mere hearing to many, and which many do not understand even while hearing, the expounder is wonderful and the receiver is wonderful. Wonderful is he who knows under the instruction of an adept. Here again the impossibility of the description of ultimate truth is explained by Bhagavan. Bhagavan comes very clearly. He comes out very clearly in this verse. It's not possible to grasp by the senses. No question you will be able to grasp by confused mind. Sit and contemplate for few minutes. What is that which cannot be spoken, which cannot be visualized, which only has to be realized?
Because 2000 crore loss. decided that I myself going personally sitting in Pondicherry and going to do the relief work.
We are expected to reach at least 1 lakh people per day.